Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. Put your feet up, grab your favourite beverage, and I'll take you through the week's news of cleaner, greener, safer, smarter, and more equitable transportation and energy. We start today's show in South Carolina, USA, where Volvo has now officially started North American production of its EX90 full-size SUV. While the start of North American production has been delayed multiple times, it was after all first revealed nearly 2 years ago, the start of US production means that the two most affordable variants, the EX90 Twin Motor Plus with either a 6 or 7-seat configuration, will both be eligible for US federal tax incentives, making them instantly more competitive in the marketplace. But if you're looking for accountability as to where your car's components come from, Volvo might actually be your number one choice. It's just announced that every Volvo EV will now get its very own battery passport, showing where its materials came from and its carbon footprint. Not to be outdone, Kia, whose 3-row EV9 is a direct, more affordable competitor to the EX90 in the electric SUV segment, has just also started US EV9 production. Unlike Volvo and plenty other automakers that have struggled to start US production on schedule, Kia's EV9 production line in Georgia has actually started production a little ahead of schedule. Like Volvo, shifting production to the US means that the EV9 can qualify for US federal tax incentives for the first time. But unlike Volvo's EX90 family, every one of Kia's EV9s comes under the $80,000 MSRP price limit on tax credit eligibility. If you're in the market for an EV9 and you're in North America, you might want to consider waiting to benefit from those incentives, but you should also bear in mind that any Korean-made cars still looking for homes are likely to be offered with significant discounts as dealerships shift old inventory. Half a world away in Cologne, Germany, Ford was celebrating the official launch of production for the all-electric Ford Explorer. And while this does now mean Ford is selling two very different vehicles with basically the same name in different parts of the world, the Ford Explorer EV becomes Ford's most affordable European market EV to date. Based on the MEB platform from Volkswagen, its specs are roughly in line with the ID.4, with a choice of either 55 kWh or 82 kWh battery pack, and a choice of rear-wheel or all-wheel drive. Ford says a second electric model will start production at its newly refurbished Cologne facility, now called the Ford Cologne Electric Vehicle Centre, later this year. It will, says Ford, be a sports crossover EV. New reporting from CNBC this week has opened a small can of worms at Tesla after it was disclosed Elon Musk told NVidia to prioritise shipments of GPUs to X rather than to Tesla. According to reports, Musk had asked NVIDIA back in December to divert GPUs originally ordered by Tesla to X, and that's led some shareholders to further question if Elon Musk has been paying attention to his fiduciary responsibilities at Tesla. Other emails obtained by CNBC reference Elon Musk's attempting to secure GPUs in order to build the world's largest cluster computer at xAI, another one of his companies. However, to be clear and informed, we should note that Elon Musk has stated that Tesla had not finished the building where its GPUs were destined, so would have been of little use to Tesla at the time they were ready. This is backed up by the fact that Musk has apparently told NVIDIA to send orders originally intended for X to Tesla instead, effectively evening out the books. As we like to say, context is queen. Electric vertical takeoff and landing specialist Archer Aviation was celebrating this week after it received its official Part 135 certification from the US Federal Aviation Authority for its Midnight eVTOL craft. Part 135 certification from the FAA is just one of many steps the company must go through before its aircraft is allowed to fly commercial operations in the US, and in this case proves that it has satisfied various requirements concerning safe flight operations, maintenance schedules, training and parts. Don't think, though, that this means that the Archer Aviation Midnight will be taking off at a vertiport near you anytime soon. It still has many more certifications to obtain, including its official type approval. But Part 135 certification isn't something to sneeze at, so well done, Archer Aviation. There's been a lot of news reporting in the last few weeks about the seemingly glacial rollout of US federally funded EV charging infrastructure, and that in turn has been used to fuel significant anti-EV FUD, both in certain political spheres but also generally online. Some of that FUD has been used to claim nobody wants electric vehicles, and some of it to claim that the federal government was lying and is disinterested. But in a recent Senate Environment and Public Works Committee hearing into the slow progress being made this week, Shailen Bhatt, who heads the Federal Highway Administration, criticised the vast amounts of red tape hindering the efforts. Right now, federal highway laws make it difficult to deploy EV fast charging at official rest stops, and individual states are all operating at different speeds when permitting requirements, cooperation and deployment all come into play. That said, he's hopeful most of the blockers will disappear this year and promises dramatically improved charger deployment. Those who follow Tesla's plan to bring fully autonomous driving to the masses through its FSD software will likely know that its latest planned iteration of FSD Supervised is a little late. The version 12.4.1, was released to Tesla staff earlier this week, and according to Tesla, will roll out to a limited number of customers by the end of the weekend. But while planned rollouts getting delayed is not new in either the automotive or the tech world, what is getting people's attention is the claim from Elon Musk this week that the next two iterations of Tesla Full Self-Driving, which he said could be called version 14 and 15, will be capable of driving for more than a year without requiring human intervention. That is, once, quote, known bugs are fixed, end quote. It's quite the promise, but Elon Musk does have a habit of overhyping what Tesla's full self-driving can actually do. We're heading to the UK next, where Dacia has just launched the refreshed version of its Dacia Spring EV with a starting price of just under £15,000 sterling. Dacia says the refreshed Dacia Spring will be offered in two different trims, Expression and Extreme, with a choice of 33 or 48 kilowatt motor and a 26.8 kilowatt hour battery pack, offering up to 140 miles or 225 kilometres on the WLTP mixed cycle. While many watching will chortle and scoff at the specs and likely note its predecessor's poor crash test rating, it is also worth noting that as a city runabout, this certainly beats a 20-year-old, rusty, polluting hatchback. For a long time, naysayers of electric vehicles have peddled in the oft-debunked myth about electric vehicles being less clean than gasoline. We've debunked it plenty on the channel, showing that even in places where the electrical grid is notoriously dirty, EVs generally still win out. But now if you own an EV in the US, you'll be pleased to know that on average, driving it is responsible for approximately 2/3 of the emissions of even the most fuel-efficient internal combustion engined cars. The news comes from the Union of Concerned Scientists, which has been tracking the emissions associated with driving a car in the US for many years. When it first started examining the impact of driving electric, EVs weren't always the cleanest option, but now they are, and for the first time, it's true for the entirety of the US. It's a good indication that the grid is just getting cleaner and cleaner. Sticking with good news from the electrical grid, new data this week shows that during the first quarter of the year, more solar generation was added to the US electrical grid than the nation did in the entirety of 2018. That's according to the Solar Energy Industries Association and analysts Wood Mackenzie, which state that nearly 10 gigawatts of new large-scale solar generation was added to the grid in the first quarter, with residential solar deployments pushing that total installation to 11.8 gigawatts overall. While new policies in states like California towards feed-in tariffs have lessened the rate of residential solar installs, grid-scale deployments are at an all-time high, and US solar manufacturing is as well, with a 71% increase in capacity. And if that wasn't enough, the US DOE has begun deploying solar farms on sites previously reserved for the storage of nuclear weapons, a move that I think we can all appreciate. Our short shorts are next, but first, if you would like to contribute to the growth in solar generation in the US, you'll want to hear from our longtime sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with the local, verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union, allowing us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and help the channel? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for short shorts, and yet again, we're starting with recalls. Audi has recalled its Q4 e-tron due to incorrect software installed for its headlights. According to the recall notice, an issue with the software could cause the parking lights to not operate properly when parked. A dealer-installed software update is planned. Also, in headlight land, Rivian has recalled its R1T, R1S and Delivery vans to rectify an issue with the headlight alignment on approximately 2,300 vehicles. It will inspect and adjust headlights as required to ensure they're within specs. Vinfast has recalled its VF8 electric car to rectify a potentially dangerous fault that could result in the airbags failing to properly deploy in an accident. The fault lies with inactive airbag ignition systems, and affected vehicles will get new ones free of charge. Mercedes-Benz has recalled all EQ-badged cars built in the last few years, nearly 15,000, to address a software fault in the car's battery management system that could lead to high-voltage battery shutdown. The remedy is an in-person dealership software update. Tesla has recalled just over 125,000 cars in the US to address a faulty software logic with affected cars' seatbelt reminder systems. By the time you're hearing this, an over-the-air software update is expected to be on the way to fix the issue. Lion Electric has recalled 43 Lion C electric school buses to address a potentially malfunctioning parking brake. The company will replace affected parking brake levers as required under warranty. It expects to notify fleet operators by mid-July. The US state of Oregon's EV incentive program, which provides means-tested incentives on both new and used EVs, has already run out of money for the year after reopening applications for rebates at the start of April. Last time it was nearly a year before more funds were available. Volkswagen has confirmed that as of this week, customers in Europe will be able to order their ID.7 electric sedans and ID.7 Tourer electric wagons with a larger 86 kilowatt-hour battery pack that was previously reserved only for GTX variants of the same. NXP Semiconductors, working with Tier 1 parts supplier ZF, have announced a new collaboration to bring silicon carbide-based power inverter technology to a new range of 800-volt components for the auto industry. They aim to reduce price and improve performance as a consequence. Tesla's Gigafactory in Berlin will shut down for 5 days, but unlike previous shutdowns that were caused by protests against the facility, these planned shutdowns are due to be spread out during the month of June to allow the company to carry out tweaks and streamlining at the company's facility. Kia has announced that it intends to expand its European sales to more than 800,000 vehicles by 2028, of which it says 85% will be electrified. I should note, though, that it used the term electrified rather than electric. EV software specialists, Last Mile Solutions, which focuses on EV charging and smart energy management, has announced its expansion into the UK. It offers B2B services for charge point operators and e-mobility service providers. Hyundai has announced it will be building the IONIQ 5 at its brand new production facility in Georgia. The same production facility where the Kia EV9 is made, the Hyundai Motor Group Metaplant America will be ready to start series production of US market IONIQ 5s by year's end. Skywell, a relatively unknown Chinese brand, will be bringing its BE11 SUV to the UK. Announced this week, it will be available to pre-order in August, with the first examples due to make landfall in the UK by the end of September. Pricing has not been set yet. To keep up with soaring demand, NIO has confirmed it's already begun construction on its third manufacturing facility, with cars due to start rolling off the production lines by the end of the year. NIO says the new facility will make up to 100,000 cars a year on a single shift. BYD has opened its first store in the Caribbean. While it's not yet tried to sell in the US, the Chinese automaker's range of EVs are already on sale in Mexico and Brazil and could prove to be quite the thorn in the side of legacy automakers trying to sell EVs there. New filings from Faraday Future shows that last year it delivered a total of 10 FF91s. The hyper-luxury SUV is one of the rarest electric vehicles you can get, and of the 10 it delivered, only 4 are actually purchased. The rest were leased. The US Department of Energy's Argonne National Laboratory has established several new task forces charged with improving the EV charging experience in the US. They will focus on everything from hardware reliability and usability to software deployment and stability of charging stations. Italy's EV subsidy programme launched this week and then promptly closed 9 hours later after it was inundated with applicants. €200 million was earmarked for purchase incentives, and every last euro was spoken for by the end of the first day. New reporting suggests that next-generation EV platform from Volkswagen, called the Scalable Systems Platform, or SSP for short, will see its first production vehicle debut in 2028. According to Handelsblatt, Volkswagen CEOs confirmed the news at the 50th anniversary event for the Volkswagen Golf. 50 years, I'm feeling old. Kia has officially opened the order books in its home market of Korea for the recently debuted EV3 electric crossover. While we don't yet know which markets outside of Korea will get the subcompact, demand is expected to be very high indeed. As some Tesla owners consider swapping their Tesla for something that's not related to Elon Musk, Porsche is leaping in with a bit of a sweetener. It wants existing Tesla customers to come to the Porsche side and is willing to offer $4,500 in cash-on-hood incentives to do so. Plus maybe cookies. I don't know about that last bit. The world's largest solar farm has just switched on in Xinjiang province in China. While we don't have videos or photos of the installation, it's said to be capable of providing a peak of 5 gigawatts of power. This makes my 15 kilowatt peak system on my home seem just a tad small. Ford's May sales figures for the US show that while Ford has eased off on some of its EV plans, customers are eager to buy more EVs. During the month of May, Ford sold 8,966 EVs, up 64% year over year. Kia's EV sales were also dramatically impressive during May, with the brand enjoying 2,260 EV6 sales and 2,187 EV9s. Year over year, that meant the brand's EV sales are up 127%. Hyundai also had a very positive May, with EVs experiencing a 54% year-on-year growth in sales of its eGMP-based EVs. It sold 4,955 IONIQ 5 and IONIQ 6 combined. Overall, brand sales fell by 3.1%. Nissan has announced it's ceasing all funding of new internal combustion engine development as it tries to play catch-up with the rest of the auto industry's EV push. While its rival Japanese automakers are pushing for new ICE vehicles, Nissan says that's not part of its future. The 2024 model year Volkswagen ID.3 is getting 3 new trim levels, with the GTX sitting at the top of the lineup and a brand new ID.3 Pure sitting at the bottom, with a far lower starting price of €36,900. JD Power's automotive leasing guide is warning that lease prices of new electric vehicles are set to soar as residual values for used EVs start to plummet. We've got a video coming on EV depreciation, so keep your eyes peeled and be sure to hit that subscribe button. New reporting from TechCrunch suggests that Fisker's woes, including its apparent lack of robust supply chain, are the fault of the company's CEO. Insiders speaking on condition of anonymity claim the company had no properly functioning warranty system and poor customer support plans. After a customer complained on social media that Tesla's FSD Supervised was a little too aggressive and asked Tesla's CEO for a mode that was even more laid back than the current chill mode, Elon Musk promptly promised a hurry mode that apparently will do the exact opposite. Fiat has announced details of its lease for the 2024 Fiat 500 in the US, and it is bad. Fiat expects customers to pay 10% deposit to get its headline 36-10 lease deal, which amounts to $414 a month for 3 years. Ridge Wallet, with help from Zach from Jerry Rig Everything, has turned a Tesla Cybertruck into a 24-karat gold-plated abomination. It cost $60,000 in gold leaf to make, and I have thoughts about it that I'm probably not allowed to share in polite company. Let's just say it's antithetical to everything we support on this channel. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 stories are next, but first a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That is exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a 3.5% savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night. It offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. So by joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And since every sign-up supports this channel, it means that you can support us while also saving smart. I'm a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while also making sure that money doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. And now it's time for those last 2 stories. For many years, the auto industry promoted diesel as being the smarter choice for car drivers looking for an economical car, despite knowing full well what diesel engines were responsible when it comes to really nasty air pollution. But in recent years, thanks to the Dieselgate scandal and a shift away from diesel towards electric, we've seen demand for diesel drop. And this week, we learned from the US Energy Information Administration that demand for diesel in the US is now at a 26-year low. In addition to automakers swearing off diesel, we have also seen a decline in diesel use across industrial applications, not to mention heating applications. But while some of the decline in oil use is down to it losing popularity among customers, some analysts suggest it's down to inflation and indicative of a wider drop of oil demand in the future. Either way, fewer gallons of diesel being used is a good thing, no matter the reason behind it. And finally, Battery swapping, where you drop out a depleted battery pack and swap in a fully charged one, has often been portrayed by its fans as being essential to the future of EV mass adoption. Yet, save for a few specialist applications, battery swapping really hasn't taken off outside of China, where NIO and a few other companies have leaned heavily into battery swapping as a way of rapidly expanding EV adoption among people who don't have off-street parking. But in recent years, we've seen several concept cars offering battery swaps, including Fiat's 120 concept car from 2020. And this week, we learned that Ford is looking to patent a new battery swap technology for future vehicles. Unlike previous applications where the battery is dropped out from underneath, Ford's application seems to focus on battery swapping without expensive underground swap stations, placing battery packs where the frunk might be on most EVs. It is an interesting idea, but it would also make the centre of gravity a lot higher for any car that used it. I'm not a fan of that, but what about you? And on that note, we are done with today's show. As always, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring the show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency, either through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. As usual, we would love it if you'd consider supporting us from just $1 a month on Patreon, or about $10.08 a year. We chose to operate a primarily viewer-supported model when we set the channel up, as it allows us to keep editorial impartiality while simultaneously ensuring that our videos are free for everyone to consume. That said, without support from those who can, we wouldn't be able to keep doing this. So if you already support, thank you, and if you don't yet, please consider supporting it. And if Patreon isn't your thing, do check out our swag store, where there's a new design for the month of June. Pride is here, so grab our new design and let your flag fly. It, along with the rest of our Pride designs, is there, and the rest of our actual swag store for all of your swag-related needs. And of course, I'll be back next week as usual. There's content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday from myself and the lovely Kate Walton-Elliott. And to finish, remember that you are valid and loved, and you have a place in this world, even if lawmakers, pundits and talking heads want you to not exist or want to restrict your rights. This year has seen so many rights eroded, and it's scary at times. It can be hard to keep on keeping on, but know that your existence is resistance. And even if you're not affected by eroding rights, please remember to register to vote and get involved in your local political scene. We made a video about that this week. Go watch it. Have your say, whatever that is, because it's part of the democratic process. So until next time, stay safe, regardless of your identity or who you love, being an amazing ally, be kind, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.